For any of the listeners who are coming across us for the first time, I would love for either one of you to just tell them about like what value does Align Collective bring? How do we show up to the table and what are we looking to do with the companies that we work with?
Align Collective unburdens big business from the status quo. And we do that by aligning effective behaviors with effective systems so they can crush their goals and transform their culture in the process.
Love that.
How'd I do?
You did great.
Thank you.
Ding, ding, ding. A+.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's such a great way to succinctly, say all of the things that we are trying to do for people because, with our clients, things can often be varied, the needs, the things that, are introduced to us in our first meetings with them. Yeah. But we always try and bring it back to that. Like that is at the core of what we do.
When I think, kind of picking up on a thread that's been going through this conversation, there is that marriage between, behavior and systems. And I think one of the things that we see a lot is, the outcome becomes everything for organizations. Like we really need to achieve X, whatever that X is. That could be this revenue number. That could be, we want to make sure that this, rollout happens effectively. We want to make sure whatever it is. And they, kind of paint this and then there's this search for expertise, or there's this search for and what's the clear path that's never going to miss that we can do. And what happens is, stuff shows up in the middle and a left turn happens and, the market changes significantly, or there's a significant issue that shows up in your organization and it just turns everything around. And I think, maybe a third piece to the systems and behavior is this, or that we really care about, is this kind of ability to adjust and apply all sorts of different theories and tools and practices and ways of operating that mirror and match what we're seeing in the organization. And I think that's really central to kind of how we operate, how we think, and what we do is, we can come in with the best laid plan, knowing full well that at some point that plan is going to make no sense anymore, or it's not going to fit, or it's going to be frustrating, or somebody's going to throw a giant curveball. And it's like, well, let's not lose sight of what's most important. And at the same time, let's not be so rigid that we have to just shove this one thing through. Yeah. So I do think our ability to, bring in a diverse team, lots of perspectives, different ages and backgrounds and ways of operating, but to lever those talents and to lever that skill set to be able to adjust and adapt to, the circumstances that we're seeing, I think is really important.
Absolutely. One thing.
It's well said.
Absolutely. That jumps out to me in that, and something that I value about both of you guys very much so, is something that we talked about a lot, that valuing tension and setting intention. I think that's something that you guys both do very well. How do we hold two sides? We've got people over here who want one thing. We've got this over here that needs another thing. How do we sit in the tension of that and, align as best as we can?